Welcome to the Ableton and Music Habits Podcast, episode 63.
Welcome to the Ableton and Music Habits Podcast. Actionable music production tips to take your music to the next level. And now, your host, Jason Timothy.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. This episode is going to be about mastering the art of just showing up. So building consistent creative habits can be a bit of a head scratcher at first. You might think you just need to lock in a specific time daily to finish songs, and you're not entirely wrong, but the issue comes down to making the new habit stick. Almost anyone can create a habit for 2 to 3 days in a row, but 30 days and beyond is accomplished by far fewer people. So here's the kicker. How do you make that habit stick? That's where the real challenge lies. Your brain, ever the resourceful creature, loves sticking to the familiar, even if that routine is holding you back. Any excuse the brain can make to stick with the old habit, and it will. It's not that your brain hates you, it's simply trying to reserve its resources by keeping on a tried and tested routine. Now, we've all been there. The interruptions, the updates, the world deciding to demand attention. Life has a knack for pulling you away from your musical haven. So how do we combat this? So let's start with the 10-minute rule. Let's debunk the myth that your goal is to dive straight into creating music and finishing tracks left and right. That's like trying to juggle 10 flaming torches on day one when you've never juggled before. See, this whole finishing songs thing has a lot of moving parts. You need to know your DAW, and you need to be organized for productivity and then understand how to build your grooves, process and layer your sounds properly, design the sounds in your head, arrange your looped idea into a song, and then mix it professionally. When you stack other tasks on top of just showing up too quickly, you run the risk of getting overwhelmed and letting your old habits take over. Instead, you'll want to break it down into bite-sized goals. And I'm going to suggest you start with the one that's often overlooked, just showing up. So with that in mind, here's your mission. Dedicate a sacred 10 minutes daily to be at your creative station. Open your DAW if you can, but the main focus is to steer clear of distractions. No Facebook, no YouTube, just you, your thoughts, and the music that you want to create. That's it. Now, ideally, you want to pick the same time every day to show up. But we all know life happens. If that's not feasible, just promise yourself those 10 minutes before you go to bed. Remember, in the beginning, we're not mastering the art of making music. You're mastering the art of showing up. If you can't nail this, forget the rest of your musical goals. Seriously. So picture this. You want to do 50 push-ups a day. Trying to hit that target from day one invites resistance and every excuse you could think of. But what about the habit of just doing one push-up daily? That's much more doable, right? Likewise, if you could consistently show up for your music for 10 minutes, time will start to stretch its legs for you. You'll organically find yourself diving into new skills every time you sit down. Now, challenges will always come your way, so just write them down, but save the problem solving for after your 10-minute session. No internet binging in the middle of your session, all right? Set a timer, give yourself 15 minutes max to find a solution, and then put it into action as soon as possible. Remember, your goal is doing the work, not getting lost in a web of information. Keep your sessions focused on creation, and then let the learning happen outside of those sacred 10 minutes. And here's the magic. At some point, it'll start to feel wrong not to sit down and open your DAW. And that's the sweet spot. The moment you've built that habit of showing up, once you're there, the rest will follow suit like a perfectly orchestrated symphony. 10 minutes will become 15, then 30 and beyond. Just remember your promise to yourself is 10 minutes every day. Even if you do a 4-hour session on a certain day, you're still obligated to those 10 minutes the next day. With that said, guys, if you're benefiting from these podcasts, you'll absolutely love my 2 best-selling books, The Mental Game of Electronic Music Production and The Process for Electronic Music Producers. You can also check out my Ableton courses and instruments at musicsoftwaretraining.com/products. And if you're looking for personal guidance with your music production or Ableton, you could set up a free chat with me to go over exactly what your best next steps are to create the best music of your life. If this interests you, just go to musicsoftwaretraining.com/private-coaching. And with that, have a fantastic day and happy music making.